This is the story of how I had to get rescued twice in as many days by the same 4x4 group. If I'm being honest with you, I'm a little embarrassed to share this tale, but in the spirit of keeping things real, I'm gonna do it anyway. This is a story of mud, blood, and how fast things can go wrong when you're driving 4x4 trails alone and with no backup plan. I'm at the very beginning of an attempt to drive 7,000 miles off-road, alone in my DIY Land Cruiser camper during winter. This is day 4 on the trail, and to put it mildly, things aren't going well. I'm well and truly bogged in a remote section of woodland. I'm running out of options fast. But how did I come to be so drastically stuck for the second time in 2 days? Well, let me bring you up to speed. This is the Iberian Trail, a new multi-part overland film series that follows a world-first attempt to circumnavigate the Iberian Peninsula off-road using only 4x4 tracks and trails. Could it really be possible to circumnavigate a landmass of this magnitude off-road, and in Europe of all places, a continent often characterised as lacking in adventure, built up and heavily populated? Or would my idea prove to be impossible and have me driving home to England having failed, with my grand ideas having come to nothing? I knew that I wouldn't be able to rest until I'd given it my best shot. Armed with hundreds of old maps, GPX files and satellite images, I painstakingly traced thousands of miles of unpaved tracks and trails to put together an epic route that would take me through some of the continent's most remote places. What I was left with was a tortuously winding pathway through some of the most diverse terrain imaginable. From towering mountains to vast deserts and plains, this route has it all, alongside the extreme four-wheel drive to match. I'll push through tight forest trails, waist-deep mud, high mountain passes full of snow, and every other type of four-wheel drive imaginable. Tackling this trail alone, I'll live out of my DIY Land Cruiser camper, living on the road for months as I attempt this expedition. This vehicle is more than 30 years old, and thanks to the extreme terrain that I'm putting it through on the daily, it's not letting me off lightly. I'm conducting all the maintenance and repairs as I go on the road, with a basic kit of tools that I can carry in the back of the cruiser, for a fully self-sufficient, off-grid overland expedition. This trip started off with a single big idea: an off-road circumnavigation of the Iberian Peninsula. Will it succeed? I have absolutely no idea, but I'm strapped in until we find out. If you're ready to accompany me on the Iberian Trail, hit that subscribe button, and we'll tackle this wild, multi-month overland expedition together. Oh my god. It's happening, it's happening, it's happening. Holy shit, we're getting out of here. Oh my god, thank god for, oh my god, for these guys. Oh my god. After spending a full day stuck at the bottom of a valley on a mountainside, this is the moment that I've finally managed to recover the vehicle and make it back to the trail after 12 hours hopelessly bogged in a mud pit. It was only with the help of these legends, Jorge and Alberto, from the local 4x4 group North Off-Roaders, that I managed to finally get out after they'd responded to a distress call that I'd put up in a local 4x4 group, and they'd arrived to help pull me out with their 4x4s. We'd worked for hours in brutal windy conditions, winching and pulling the stricken cruiser back up the mountainside to more favourable conditions. Oh, we're out! Oh my god! Oh, what a day! I drove in convoy for a while with the guys through otherworldly scenery as the sun dipped low in the sky in the west. After pulling over to catch our breath and debrief on the day's events, we aired up the tyres and I bid the guys a fond farewell, alongside heartfelt thanks for coming to my rescue. We all went our separate ways and I found myself alone again, adrenaline still coursing through my veins as night fell on the trail. I need some fast calories because I haven't eaten all day, and yeah, I'm just getting a bit shaky and that after the whole adrenaline thing. So I've got like got a box of biscuits that I brought from England, so I'm just gonna eat them. Also, like, we're not really out of the woods yet because I'm trying to really get the hell down from this mountain. Yeah, I'm coming up to this and it's saying like rock steps. Tramo complicado. I do not want any more tramos complicados, man. Escalón piedra, that's rock steps. This is something I don't want to do right now. Freaking hell. Oh my god, bro. Oh god. I think I need to turn around, man. I gotta do something other than what this is wanting me to do. I can't take this after the day that I've had, man. I'd ended up on a switchback route down the mountainside. I'd followed the valley floor for a bit and was now on the other side of the valley. Alright, so I've just climbed up into an area of logging. I spotted this little side bit off the main trail, so I think we're going to try to find a place down here. It looks quite good in terms of being hidden, which is what we want. It's actually quite intense 4x4 hidden by the grasses. I'll drop it into high 4. Jesus. Alright, this is... yeah, intense freaking 4x4 again. This looks ideal for camping and no one's coming down here, I don't think. Jesus, man. Car is like really over to the side now. Okay, let's see about camping somewhere down here. Yeah, this looks kind of ideal for camping, I think. Make sure this is like leveled out a bit. Oh yeah, I'm gonna pull down onto this trail. It's like the remnants of what was the trail, but it's gotten super overgrown over the years, and so pretty much driven as far as I can and just parked up in the middle of, you know, what was this trail. Oh man, I've got this tin of olives right now. I bought them the other day and they're really doing what I need them to do. Some kind of sustenance after the day that I've had. It looks like the views are going to be incredible over here in the morning. I'm like proper in the brush here. I'll tell you what, I think I'm the filthiest I've ever been in my life. My boots will be knackered. I should have bought some walking boots. I've got to get set up, but I'm kind of like putting it off. I can't be arsed. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. Oh my god. Ugh. See, I'm just like fully in the brush here. God. It's like pretty fucking waterlogged, honestly. Ugh. So, I'm in the middle of nowhere, on the side of a mountain. The wind has kind of eased for the minute. I can only hope it continues like this, because yeah, just not a fan, not sleeping well, you know. And oh god, I could do with a good sleep tonight. I really could. But, okay, here we are. I'm camped up and in the middle of freaking nowhere in the forest somewhere, and oh god, I'm just kind of excited to come down off that adrenaline high. Oh god, it's funny being in here in this camper like right now, because that's the weird thing about having like your home on the back of your 4x4. Like, it's great, but also like, you know, having all this here while you're in like a desperate situation. It's the weirdest feeling. It's so odd. It almost feels like perverse, you know? It's a very strange thing. It's like, you know, there's all this comfort here, all your food, all your water, and yet you're in a dire situation, you know, potentially even life-threatening. Like, Oh man, it's a fucking weird thing. I'm gonna, try and make a half decent meal tonight. God, like, this is the most filthy I've ever been in my life. I think I'm gonna try to, like, clean up a bit. I haven't had a shower in a few days, which doesn't help either. Oh my god, this is like true adventure. Oh god, it's hard, man. It's bloody hard is what it is. Friggin' hell. I'm trying to fucking wipe all this mud off my face. Like, that has been such a humbling day in so many different ways. Those guys just so like willing to help for nothing but their own morality and like just to help another human being. It makes me look at myself honestly and think, Jesus man, like that level of just giving to a total stranger is just so you know, when you're on the receiving end of it, it just makes you feel bad about yourself. But more than that, it inspires you to be a better person. Pretty grateful, thankful to still have the car, and then it didn't roll. There was some, oh my god, it was so close to rolling. Alright, so we've got an amazing city view out of here. Clouds have cleared, and check this out. I don't know if you can see actually that well, but yeah, massive kind of like town complex just outside the window, and I'm just like chilling here in the forest in my camper. It's pretty cool, honestly. I'm making dinner. It's 11 o'clock at night, mate. Oh god, but check it out. So I have this going on here. It's garlic, onion and carrot in there. I want to cut up some tomatoes. I have this beef mince, some mushrooms. It's basically going to be like a bolognese or something, really, kind of. I bet I'm going to make it with rice because rice suits me better than pasta. The funny thing was, after today's proceedings, I got here at like 9, but rather than just making dinner straight away, I just sat and drank like 6 beers and corresponded with the guys who rescued me today, like swapping pictures and stories and that from the day, which I actually feel like I really needed. So yeah, I'm making dinner really late, slightly drunk, great view of a city on my own in the middle of a forest, tucked away down a dirt road. Pretty good, honestly. Tomorrow I guess I'll get up late, so see you then. Alright, I've just woken up here in the forest. It's pretty late, honestly. It's about 10 AM, and I'm going to go out and check out the campsite that I pulled into in the dark last night. But if this is anything to go by, it's going to be awesome. Check it out. There's the view on my window. So let's go out. Oh wow, yeah, pretty bloody waterlogged. Oh, I don't really want to go out here in flip-flop boots, shoes even. I jumped out of the cruiser into what turned out to be an incredibly overgrown, abandoned forestry trail. That's the trail I came in on last night. And this is the spot. Look at the state of this car, I really need to get it washed. I'm located on the side of a mountain, just off of an expansive network of forestry trails. This place is located not all that far from the city of Santander, maybe 70 or 80 kilometers as a crow flies, but at the same time it's incredibly rural, made up primarily of agricultural and forestry land with some national park, all clinging to rugged, spiny mountains that stretch all the way along Spain's northern coast. Stay at this. Oh god. So there has been a trail down here. I don't know how much it still exists. I'd check it out, because if I could link up. Oh, that is overgrown to hell. Like, it's gonna be effort getting through here, that's for sure. Oh, yeah, I don't know about that. With the way back out of this track looking steep and waterlogged, I had been thinking that I might be able to push on, cutting my way through the brush and undergrowth to link up with another track that I could see on my maps about a quarter mile up ahead. But now that I'd gone to scout it, I could see that mature trees had actually grown up in the middle of the track. So where the car was positioned now really was the end of the line. Right, I'm gonna try to set the car up to take a shower, because it's been a few days and it's time. Okay. Yeah, we're actually missing a hose here. Yeah, so usually I'd have a hose lock connector on both ends of this, but that is what I'm missing. So I do have this hose pipe that I use to shower at the end, the gun. So I'm thinking I could actually, if I really wanted to, just connect it to this, using one of these male-to-male connectors. And it would be a very short shower, as in short cable. But, you know, needs must, I guess. It would work. I ended up setting the shower up by simply looping the hose pipe through one of the camper roof tie-downs, forgetting the idea of a garden hose shower head for now, and just letting the water trickle out the end of the hose. The result was a surprisingly awesome shower experience. Not having to mess about with the garden hose trigger was quite liberating, and after spending a few days in the wild without having washed properly, the feeling of piping hot water was incredible. It felt really good to be clean again. God, I tell you what, it's bracing but so nice. Clean. Ugh. So yeah, we're gonna try and back out of here. It looks kind of like it might be interesting backing out of here. Check this out. So this is the back door of the car. As you can see, this tire track is like well flooded, and that's quite the ascent back there. I put it in full load to get down here, thinking there would be a place to turn around. So I guess we'll see how it is reversing up that in low 4. Honestly, not looking forward to this. I feel like it's going to be a repeat of yesterday, but yeah, we'll see. I basically ruined my Timberlands. These are pretty new Timberlands. Funny thing was that when I last did a trip in the what the hell do we call this? Iberian Peninsula. I didn't do northern Spain. I did kind of eastern Spain and then a lot of Portugal. And whilst it was cold and wintry, it was totally dry. So I was packing all this extra gear, like carrying weight and that, and I was like, oh, well, I just live in my Timberland boots. It's like, no problem. And so all I brought this time was Timberland boots. Obviously, yesterday, I was like literally up to my freaking knees in mud. And so, yeah, they're basically ruined already. So I'm going to have to order myself a pair of hiking boots. And I don't know whether we can kind of salvage these. What do you think? Yeah, that one particularly does not look good. Once they get like these creases in, it's really difficult to get them out. Well, you can't get them out there. They're knackered, really. That one in particular is totally knackered. That one looks vaguely salvageable, but I mean, can't do anything with just one boot, can you? So, yeah, such is life. Alright, so we're going to try to get out of here. It's really muddy ground. It's just rained as well, which is not, honestly, ideal. But yeah, going to go drop the roof and try to back up out of this mud pit. I set about packing the car up and getting ready for departure. I dropped the camper roof and sorted out in the back before closing up the rear camper door. Right, I'm going to try to get out of here, hopefully with not all that much drama. Let's see. I'm kind of ready to leave. The flies here are pretty gross, actually. So, yeah, I want to get out of this mud pit and see how far we get. I feel like I'm going to need quite a lot of kinetic energy to do this. Tell you what, when people said the north of Spain was going to be muddy, I kind of thought, ah, yeah, muddy. Did not expect it to be this muddy. Right, get out of here, man. Trying to hit any trees on the way back as well. Shitting hell close to that tree. Woo, baby. Ah, it's a bit more like it. Ah, no, we're stuck. This is exactly what I thought would happen. The incline and the thick mud were proving too much for the cruiser going backwards. Okay. Right, well and truly stuck. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, that's a real deep hole. Now back to it again. Oh my god. Alright, well at least we've got the recovery boards handy again. Alright, so we're going to get these recovery boards off and try and get ourselves up this hill. I reckon this should be possible with the boards. Oh god, freaking hell. God. Alright, we'll stick one in there. Yeah, should be some kind of traction. We'll get the other ones here. Get hell, they're heavy with so much mud on them. Yeah, this is the bad one, like. So if I can get a bit of traction on there, hopefully should be about right. As I was positioning the recovery board, something caught my eye. Oh my god, my spare. My spare's been nicked. My spare tyre's been nicked. What the hell? I stood there staring blankly at the space where my spare tyre had been, trying to process what I was seeing. Someone's nicked my spare tyre and I don't know how the hell that's happened. When could that possibly have happened? Unless it's come off on the road somewhere. Oh my god, where could that have happened? I can't see how I would not have noticed that my spare freaking tyre had fallen off, you know what I mean? Oh god. Some things are really confusing. Is this one of them? Yeah, this one really has me stumped, like. The loss of the spare tyre was kind of blowing my mind, but I had to remember that at present I was still stuck alone in a forest, so I'd have to put that one to back of mind for now. Right, so what we're going to do is pull a bit forward and try and align with this board a bit more, so we can hopefully come right out of here. Oh man, that spare tyre situation. Hey, I tell you what, that's gonna actually really fuck me in a lot of different ways, because yeah, I can't go back on the trail proper without spare. Actually, this whole problem, like with the 1,000 miles off-road thing. Okay, well, let's try and get out of here at the very least, eh? The recovery tracks were not working as I'd hoped. I was giving it everything the cruiser had backwards, but the vehicle was just digging itself deeper and deeper into the mud. Right, this one isn't really working out. So what I've done is this. You see where my tyres have been cutting right through the embankment here. The ditch that I've now dug. So I've put both recovery boards here. I'm hoping that my back wheels will give them enough traction just to get over this bit. And if I could get enough kinetic energy on the go, then yeah, we should be able to get out of here. Just so funny that this is like a place that I pulled off down to camp and got myself this stuck. You know, I'm 200 miles into this trail so far, 200 kilometers into this trail. Quite honestly, it really does beg the question as to whether this is going to be tenable off, you know, long term. This situation was getting worse by the minute. I've aired down a bit, but with the lack of a spare, I don't want to air down too much because you run the risk of ripping the tyre off the rim. And if I rip the tyre off the rim and I'm unable to sort it, then you're screwed, basically. You know, obviously you could use the explodey tyre trick, but it's no guarantee. So just trying to think of the best, least risk way that I could get out of here, you know. I think I might go scout down that track again and see if I could maybe do a 68 million point turn, you know. Right, so I've walked down the track and there is this space here right at the very end. It's a funny thing, this is like once been a four-wheel drive track, obviously through that I assume like a login area, and then it's been overgrown and, you know, these new massive, by the way, trees have sprung up, and so it's no longer a track. This is what remains of it, and so I suppose at some point people have driven down here and then hiked, because I can see like maybe it's animal trails or human trails, I don't know what, but yeah, this might be enough to turn around in. It's certainly a lot drier than it is up there. So yeah, path of least resistance. I mean, the only thing is that, well, it's a bit of a drop off down there, you know, so like I do need to watch out. Can't really tell, but like down there there's a big old ditch and then it's just hill, downhill. I basically do still want to be really careful, but I think this might be the better plan than just keep on doing this and then eventually rip a tire off a rim and obviously chaos ensuing that way. Right back into it. I spent the next 5 minutes doing a several point turn in the forest. This is a trail cut into a mountainside, and while you can't really tell here, there was quite the drop off to the left, so I was keen to take my time with this and be careful. It was now pushing towards mid-afternoon, and as the evening approached, with it came rain clouds, covering the valley in a light drizzle that I was sure wasn't going to help my situation. I need a freaking front diff lock. Yeah, this is gonna work though. Hell yeah, right. Let's try to get up here in one go, right? Okay, we're gonna have one last try at this and then it's winch, because I do not want to rip any tyres off of rims, because then we actually are stuck. Right, let's do the winch. Goodness me. I'd now managed to winch really successfully quite far up the track, but little did I know my progress was about to come to a shuddering halt. Unfortunately, my files corrupted and I lost the audio on all these next clips, but essentially as follows is what happened. I'd now winched as far as I could on this line, so I jumped out to reposition the winch rope, but since all of the weight of the vehicle was on the rope, I couldn't operate the free spool. I grabbed my winch controller in order to let some weight off the rope so that I'd be able to engage the handle, but to my surprise the out function on the handle wouldn't work. I could still pull the winch in with the in button, but I'd already reached the max of the winch's pulling capability. With me unable to let the vehicle's weight off of the rope, this rendered me pretty stuck. With the 3-ton vehicle's weight entirely on the line, I was unable to go either forwards or backwards. I knew that this issue with the handle and cable must be something to do with the contacts in the electrical box on the winch. I messed around with the contacts and the plug for ages, seeing if I could get it to work in various different positions, but I think I probably just made it worse. I racked my brains to no avail on ways that I might be able to release the weight of this vehicle off the winch, but I came up short every time. It was now coming up to evening, and a drizzle was setting in. I realised that I spent yet another full day stuck in a mud pit. As I was considering my options here, an idea came to me. The guys who'd pulled me out of the mud on the mountainside yesterday, Jorge and Alberto, are seasoned 4x4 pros, and I dropped them a message on WhatsApp to see if they had any ideas on what I could do here. To my surprise and eternal gratitude, Jorge from North Off-Roaders told me that he was finishing up a day's four-wheel driving not that far from my position. And he told me that if I could wait an hour, he'd come and lend me a hand. I told him that waiting an hour would not be a problem for me, and I was going nowhere. Here's the guys. Amigos. Hola, hola.
Hola.
Tenemos el equipo.
¿Qué tal?
Muy bien, gracias. Gracias por estar aquí.
Tío.
Jorge had once again brought the cavalry, with his uncle and another friend, both seasoned 4x4 pros, along for the ride. As soon as these guys arrived, they sprang into action. The plan here was to use the power of both winches, working in tandem to pull the stricken cruiser up and out of the bog. We kept the North Off-Roader's car up on the hill, at a safe distance from the sticky bog hole. We repositioned my winch to a tow point on Jorge's car and attached his winch to one of my tow points to make for a nice, powerful double-line pull. Hey, so the guys are back here and we're about to get out. We're gonna try this. Okay. Winch it! Yeah, this is happening. This is happening. He's saying slower. That's good. We're getting out of here, man. With the power of the two winches perfectly positioned and under the direction of the team, we were making fast progress in pulling this beast out of the bog as the sun dropped below the horizon. Vale. El winch. Voy. Sí.
Suelta, güey.
¿Suelta? Ay, sí. ¿Para el winch o qué? ¿El winch? No puedo, eso no funciona muy bien.
No funciona.
No funciona.
No funciona bien.
Nada.
No es que no funciona bien.
Pero tal vez puedes tocar el mande, se dice, en free. Sí,
El liberador.
El liberador, exactamente, sí.
Que no uses el winch. No
Sí,
uses el winch.
vale.
Stop winch. ¿Qué hacemos entonces? Gira la dirección.
Sí.
Rex. Más. Dirección para acá. Ahí. Un poco el motor, dale un poco primera, motor. Uy, perfecto.
Excelente.
Más.
Son profesionales.
Vale, ok. Vale. Izquierda.
A izquierda. Excelente.
Vale, quieto.
He's such nice guys, man. Second time in 2 days. And so we continued, inch by inch, pulling this cruiser up the muddy embankment. Jorge working his winch inside of his vehicle, and me operating mine inside the cruiser, with the guys giving directions and occasionally repositioning the ropes when needed. Sí.
Ya lo veo, ya.
Todavía es súper profundo, ¿no? Como...
No, porque te echa el culo.
Sí.
Tú aguanta allí la dirección. Más allí.
Sí. Listo.
Ahora tienes que salir suave para arriba y arrimado allí, ¿vale?
Sí.
Para que no se caiga aquí, se hunde. Se hunde.
Sí, tienes razón. Tengo racks para recobre abajo. Necesito recogerlos, ¿sabes? Como...
Ah, planchas.
Planchas se dice, sí.
Pero vamos a subirle ahí, subimos los coches allí y después ya bajas a...
Ah, sí, sí, está bien, sí, perfecto. Vamos.
Cantabria, colegas en Cantabria.
¡Cantabria!
Cantabria.
Estamos aquí. La gente mejor del mundo, amigo, en serio.
Que nos gusta mucho esto.
Ay, muchas gracias. Yo también.
Nos gusta el todoterreno mucho.
Sí, todo terreno. Es como una vida, ¿no? Como un estilo de vida.
Un estilo de vida.
El estilo de vida,
O sea,
el barro,
bajar,
como...
dormir.
Sí, exacto.
Es otro mundo.
Otro mundo, exactamente.
¿Qué más falta? ¿Planchas las tienes abajo?
Sí, tengo dos abajo, pero creo que son enterradas, ¿cómo se dice?
Enterradas.
Enterradas, sí. Puedo ver porque es como súper, hay mucho barro, pero...
Sí, se hunde.
Sí, eso es.
Cuando está ahí y vamos y las cogemos.
Sí, perfecto.
Tú vete arrimado allí,
Vale,
¿Cómo vas?
sí.
Ahí está duro, está bueno. Hay recto ya para arriba si quieres.
Sí. And with that, after another full day buried in the mud, the Land Cruiser was running under its own steam at last. Okay, we are out of here, so I'm gonna go get the recovery boards because they're really heavy with loads of mud on. With the vehicle recovered and safe at the top of the hill, we set about trying to pick up the pieces from another insane day in the mud, collecting up all the recovery gear and packing it into the cruiser as the light failed rapidly and night fell.
The recovery... How do you say? Planchas de desatasco? The recovery...
Recovery boards or tracks.
Just appear.
They appeared, yeah, after digging around in the mud for like the last 20 minutes.
No puedes perder material por el camino que te va a hacer falta.
You can lose anything.
Es importante.
Es importante también, sí,
Arena, sí.
sí.
Yeah,
Sí,
for the
por
sandy
la
trails.
¿Arena se dice?
Yeah.
Arena.
Sí, sí.
Que
¿Cómo se
en
dice
inglés, ¿cómo se
arena,
dice?
Jorge?
Sandy trails.
Porque
Sandy
en
trails.
alemán se dice sand.
Sand.
Sand, exactamente, arena, sí. Muy bien. Ah, gracias de nuevo, amigos.
You're welcome, man. Sí.
No puedo creerlo.
Sí, explícale un poco los sitios urbanos.
el tema es
Voy
que...
con cámara. All right, we are getting out of here. So they pulled me out and now we're gonna head up. But it turned out this little culvert off the trail still wasn't done with me just yet. Even pretty much at the top of the hill, the mud was unbelievable and I was just spinning tires again. Jorge went up the hill to turn around on the trail so that he could back down and pull me out that way. And I was once again left pretty dumbfounded about the poor performance of this cruiser in mud, and more keen than ever to get a new set of mud terrains so that I'd be better equipped to handle the insane mud of northern Spain. At some point as we packed up, Jorge managed to drop me a few North Off-Roader stickers, as well as this cameo on my video camera that I found as an Easter egg only when editing this video. These guys are the best people you could ever hope to meet, and I'll be forever grateful for their kindness and good humour, and for pulling me out of the mud 2 days in a row. Hey, dude, I am not joking, these people are just some of the nicest I've ever met in my life. They're just such lovely people. They wouldn't, oh man, it is really humbling. And this is the second time in 2 days. I followed the guys down off the mountain, towards the town in the valley below. My current situation, with a broken winch and a missing spare tyre, was untenable for continuing with the trail. And I knew I was going to have to go down into civilization to figure these problems out before I could carry on. Despite the time getting on for 9 PM, the guys told me that they knew a mechanic pretty nearby who might be able to look at my winch. It just so happened that the quickest way back into somewhat civilization was through a river crossing, which is probably my favourite thing to do off-road. The North Off-Roader's Montero lined it up first, the LED high beams illuminating the riverbed and lighting up the way towards the opposite embankment. I was up next, and I nosed the cruiser down into the murky waters, using the light of the spotlights to try to pick the best line. Alright, so we just crossed the river and now I'm following Jorge to a mechanic that they know close to where I'm staying tonight. So I booked an apartment to stay in for the next few days because I got a lot of things to sort out now, like a lot of problems with the car. And so, yeah, we're going to, this is like my first time on paved roads for any length of time in like what feels like days, and it feels really nice, obviously. So yeah, we're going to this mechanic, like they're like from what I could understand, like a tractor or farm mechanics, like a rural mechanic, you know, who kind of fixes things on the fly. So yeah, we're going to go see him, see if he's in, see if they can fix my winch. So my winch is broken, essentially. My new friends from Cantabria were playing around with it, trying to get it to work, and they reckon it's like one of the contacts in where the cable attaches is broken. And so probably, you know, the melee yesterday when I was panicking, maybe I put it in a little bit wrong and I've bent the contact or something like that. But they're like, yeah, this is like an auto electrician job basically. It'll be like, you know, a quick job for him, whereas for us it's like a whole big thing. I followed the Montero through the dark, dimly lit streets of rural Cantabria, passing through small towns and villages, mostly rural agricultural communities, as we headed towards the lockup and the mechanic that the guys knew. In the end, the mechanic came down specially to reopen his shop to help me with my quandary. I pulled into the unit, and the North Off-Roaders guys got immediately to work showing the mechanic what they thought that the issue was, pulling the electrical contact box off of the winch and getting to work with the soldering iron. As they did so, I went back into the shop to check out some of the cool old beasts that the mechanic had here as project vehicles. Classic series Land Rovers with Santana markings. After an hour or so in the shop, I bid farewell to the North Off-Roaders guys and the kind mechanic who'd come down specially to help me. Not only was my winch fixed, but the mechanic had also had a spare wheel and tyre lying around, which he'd given me for free. I don't even know where to start, but I don't have words for how nice these people are. They came out, pulled my nuts out the fire again with the recovery, brought me to this guy's mechanic shop. The guy came out, it's 10 o'clock at night almost. This guy came out with his girlfriend, came down in this little Peugeot. They worked on my winch. The tyre that I lost on the trail somewhere, the spare wheel and tyre, he like had one lying around, and he's like, yeah, you can take this as well. So I've got like a new tyre and wheel on the back. And I tried to pay him, the mechanic, who's come down literally after hours, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna take your money. And I like argued with him. I'm getting like a bit emotional about it, you know, because it's just been, like, he's just so nice. Like, I can't believe the kindness of people. It's like hard to honestly like track. Yeah, really just so nice, these people. I tried to pay him, like I was like, no man, I have to pay you, you've come out, you know, and he's like, no, like, he said, I think this is what he said, like, you know, this is after hours, like it'd be way too expensive for you. It's like, yeah, dude. Oh my god, the kindness of people sometimes really just take your breath away. So now I have a working winch, so I can tackle the rest of the trail. I have a spare tire, a spare wheel again. I have everything I need to carry on a trail like this. To put this right myself would have taken maybe even weeks, you know, trying to find a spare rim of the same offset, trying to find a tire, like bring all these stuff in, like order it in, trying to find a mechanic to actually fix the winch or to, like, you know, mess on with the winch and that. And they've just sorted everything for me for nothing. Like, I don't... Wow. Thank you so much, guys, if you're watching this. With a new spare wheel and tyre, and a working winch, I could get back on the trail. But I decided to post up for a few days in a rural apartment to address a few small issues on the cruiser and get some work done. I also ended up having a fight with a stone tabletop, which left me leaving with a black eye. Something I found particularly ironic given the dangerous recoveries that I've been undertaking the last few days. Who'd have thought that in the end it'd be a stone table in a nice safe apartment that would get me. Alright, so this is what the car looks like after several days of overlanding and a couple of days stop. So all this stuff needs to go into its respective places, in there, under there, in there, and then I'll be somewhat ready to go. So right here is the foothills of the Picos de Europa. So I'm on a trail right now, heading up into the mountains. This is something that I've been looking forward to from the first moments of planning this expedition, and I am so stoked to be here. This looks absolutely amazing. It's like a mountain river, really fast mountain river. I was heading up into the Picos de Europa, one of the highest mountain ranges in Europe, a 4x4 transit of which had captured my imagination from the very first few moments of planning this trail. With 350 miles of off-road driving under my belt so far, I'd be heading ever westwards through northern Spain, including an audacious attempt to navigate one of the highest mountain passes in Spain during winter. As I struck out into that grey and frozen afternoon, following a trail next to a fast mountain river that would take me up into the high Picos de Europa, I felt ready and prepared to tackle whatever was next on my Iberian Trail. With a fridge full of food, a full fuel tank and jerry cans, and a GPX map strung together from afar, I was poised to breathe life into something that I'd been plotting for years. But as the first flakes of snow hit my windscreen on my ascent into the foothills, I could have no inkling of just how life-changing my crossing of the Picos de Europa was gonna be. What lay ahead was gonna redefine how I looked at long-distance, solo, self-reliant overland travel forever. Just up ahead were endless miles of remote four-wheel drive tracks through some of the most spectacular terrain I've ever seen. And I'll be pushing through this high mountain world alone and off-grid, always choosing the trail less travelled in my relentless pursuit to be the first person to circumnavigate this incredible landmass without using paved roads in an off-road vehicle. I'll be pushing through extreme and hostile terrain in the dead of winter, four-wheel driving and wild camping my way through this wild and rugged land in my 30-year-old Land Cruiser. Along the way, we'll experience the true meaning of self-reliance on this long-distance overland expedition. We'll encounter the type of challenges that you just can't plan for, pushing through mechanical disasters in remote places, inflicted by the extremity of the terrain, after weeks on the trail. The next section of the Iberian Trail will be the most extreme, raw, and ruggedly beautiful yet, and will mark the gateway to the wild west of Spain, with Asturias, Leon, and Galicia on the horizon. This moment marks the next stage of this epic adventure. And believe it or not, we're only just getting started. If you're ready to accompany me on this expedition, hit that subscribe button and strap in, because this is going to be the adventure of a lifetime.